So here I am with back-to-back reviews of movies with horrible endings. At least this one was horrible in a good way. It frustrated me, but it was also awesome.
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it.
I am micless again today. I did buy an adapter, but it didn't work. So now I'm gonna have to buy a whole new mic, which is awesome. Also, if you couldn't tell, I'm sick.
I'm sick.
So if I sound like I'm panting, it's because I am completely unable to breathe through my nose and I'm trying not to suffocate. So, good times. Let's get into it. I am going to majorly spoil the ending of this movie later on, so I will put a warning beforehand so that you have time to click away. If you have any desire to watch this movie, do yourself a favor and don't spoil the ending for yourself so that you can experience it properly. Wolf is a 2013 black and white Dutch film starring Marwan Kenzari. Like the last movie I covered, The Slaughter Rule, I was unable to find a single video on YouTube talking about Wolf, which I was honestly surprised by. I don't know much about Dutch cinema, but from what I could tell, this seems to be a relatively well acclaimed movie, and it has a lot of really great reviews. Like I said, I couldn't find any videos about it, but I did find lots of reviews online that I was able to read that kind of helped round out my opinion on it, because I really wasn't sure how I was feeling about it initially. While I don't necessarily agree with the 10 out of 10 reviews, I also feel like the 1 out of 10 reviews really missed the point of this movie. I hate saying this because it sounds so snobby, and I do believe that everyone's experience with movies and the way they interpret them is so personal, but they just didn't get it. To be fair, I'm not sure that I really got it either, but let's talk about it. Wolf is the story of a Moroccan immigrant living in the Netherlands. Majid is a thief out on probation, which doesn't do a whole lot to slow him down. He's had to move back in with his parents after the arrest, and their family dynamic is strange to say the least. His father is naturally rather disappointed with him, and he's worried that he will corrupt his younger brother, Tarek. Majid is a very talented kickboxer, and he starts competing only to catch the eye of some sketchy people who would like to use him to their advantage. Majid finds himself caught between two possible paths and trying to have the best of both worlds. Now, right off the bat, I don't like the black and white. I get what they were going for, but sue me, I like color. I always feel like I'm missing something when I watch black and white movies. I guess maybe I'm just not pretentious enough, but I just feel like I'm almost like straining to make things out, you know? I wanted to like this movie really bad. It had a lot of things going for it, but it just wasn't coming together in the right way for me. Something just felt a bit off and kind of clunky about it the first time I watched it. But it did get better the more that I thought about it. I remember watching Only God Forgives for the first time and feeling like it felt weird. The editing was jarring, and I kept on thinking about all the things that could be done differently to make it better, and I thought I didn't really like it. But something about it just stuck with me, and I was thinking about it for days until eventually I just had to sit down and watch it again. And the second time I watched it, it just clicked. Everything I thought felt weird about it originally just felt right the second time around. I watched a video that Rockland Graves did on Nosferatu, and he was talking about Robert Eggers movies and how sometimes he doesn't really like them initially, but then after he's had some time to sit with them and think on them, they end up becoming his favorites. I find movies like that so fascinating when they don't quite hit you right while you're watching it, but it gets in your head and you think about it and you think about it and it just keeps on building up until you watch it again and you just go, there it is. Now it's landing. And that was definitely the case with this movie for me. Right after it ended the first time, I knew I was going to be thinking about it for a long time afterwards, even though I wasn't sure if I even liked it. I literally watched it a day later and loved it. I actually wrote most of this video on my phone in that one day because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, one of the things that didn't quite land right with me the first time around was for a movie where a lot should be happening, not a lot is really happening. But I didn't mind that so much the second time through. I think because I knew what I was in for, I was able to kind of relax and appreciate it more. Instead of playing out like a traditional movie, Wolf plays out like you're literally watching Majid's life. And so, despite not being the most entertaining movie, you do want to keep on watching because you're now invested in this guy's life and you want to see what happens to him. It's also a huge help that Marwan Kenzari is such a good actor, and this role was perfect for him. I can't imagine anyone else pulling this off the way that he did. Plus, you gotta watch him work out a lot, which is always a bonus. I felt simultaneously that I knew everything I needed to know about Majid as a person, and also that I wanted more. Because of the way this movie is laid out, focusing more on following Majid through this time in his life than driving the plot forward, it can feel a little bit meandering at times, but while many scenes don't feel important to the plot, they do help to give you a pretty solid sense of Majid as a character. He's not a good guy, but you still find yourself wanting him to succeed and caring about what happens to him. Caring about what happens to him. I think a part of him maybe is a good guy. He cares about his family and he cares about his friends, but his downfall is his desire to be respected and to be the top dog. It's part of him that he just can't seem to overcome, and in the end, it's what likely kills him. At the end of the movie, Majid has gotten into a bad spot with his sketchy employer, and right before this big fight that they had set up for him, they jump him and tell him that they'll let him off the hook if he throws the fight. So he pulls himself together and he heads out there ready to go throw this fight. But then he sees his dad and his little brother in the audience. And he's so desperate for his dad to be proud of him that he just can't go through with it. And he ends up winning the fight. I saw him see his dad and his brother. And I went, oh. Then I saw the look on his dad's face when he won. And I went, worth it. The worth it was fleeting, however, because that ending just slapped me in the face. I do wish they had made a bigger deal out of this fight. Earlier in the movie, they're really talking up how good this other guy is supposed to be and how it's going to be the hardest fight the Majid has had so far. But in the end, he wins so easily, despite just having been beat up and with a broken hand. I feel like for how long this movie is, they really could have spared an extra 5 minutes to make this fight seem like a bit more of a challenge. At the end of it all, I'd say this is probably my biggest disappointment with the movie, which I guess overall makes it a pretty good movie. The ending scene, however, is both fantastic and horribly unsatisfying. After winning the fight, Majid goes back to his dressing room and he sits down, and it's just this close up of him. And then the door opens and he looks up and it cuts to credits. And I was just sitting there going, no, 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 no.
No, 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 no. Wait.
As much as I wanted to know what happens for sure, the truth is that we do know what happens and we really don't need to see it. And I think choosing to end it this way is way more powerful than anything that could have played out, and it certainly leaves an impression. So that's it for Wolf, another movie that I rented that I now wish I had just bought because after the second watch, I completely love it, and I am still thinking about it. I actually found another review comparing it to Only God Forgives in the same way that I was, and I was like, yes, I love it when people agree with me. I feel so validated. It's like proof that my opinions aren't totally dumb. Before I go, I do want to say a really big thank you to everyone who has subscribed. After my last video, I actually surpassed my goal of 50 subscribers, which completely blew me away. I am beyond grateful and so happy that people are actually liking my videos, so thank you for being here. If you've seen Wolf, I would love to hear what your thoughts about it were down in the comments. Please give this video a like if you made it all the way to the end, and consider subscribing if you love movies as much as I do.